I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
And it looks like Millett might have won this. He did by 2/100ths of a second over Brandon. That S4 guy off turn 4 for the final time sees the checkered flag. It waves. It belongs to the 315. Checkered flag. Contact, and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short... With more than 1,000 palm trees in a Caribbean color scheme, the facility projects a South Beach flavor that distinguishes Homestead-Miami from other major racetracks in America. It took a while longer to get the right combination for the racing surface. In its first iteration, the track had 4 separate, low-banked corners, reminiscent of a mini Indianapolis. That configuration failed to promote good racing, and unfortunately also provided bad crash angles. Widening the aprons failed to correct either of these issues. Then a major reconfiguration of the track during the summer of 1997 brought a more conventional layout, sweeping 180-degree corners at either end of the oval. Close, but no cigar. Most of the recent work on the track, during which the track assumed variable banking up to 20 degrees in the corners, flattening to 3 degrees on the straightaways, has done the trick. Everyone agrees. Homestead-Miami, the beauty is now more than skin deep. It's the GLSR Championship 250. And it's next on HBR TV. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Homestead-Miami Speedway for the season finale here of the Downrange Transport Premier Series. Let's get right to it here. Take a look at our race details. 167 laps. Roughly 250 miles, still 80-degree air temperature. Humidity actually coming down, 48%, partly cloudy skies, and as it tends to be in South Florida, a little breezy here at night, 12-mile-per-hour breeze. Track temperature, 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Should prove for some decent qualifying laps. Practice again just wrapping up here, a little over a minute remaining. And those are names mixed in that shouldn't be there. There it is. Brandon Alphin, top of the board, 33.39 seconds, his fast time. Then Sam Fontaine 33-41, then a 47, then a 50, a 53, back to Sean Petchen in the top 5. With all that said, we should take a look at our point standings coming into tonight. Bear with me just a moment. We'll try and get at least the top 10 drivers pulled up here into the session. Again, the final 4 drivers, the top 4 drivers, Alex Cummings, Alex Bryson, Cameron Ingram, Sam Fontaine, those eligible to win the championship tonight. The driver finishing in the highest running order amongst those 4 will be crowned the champion here of the GLSR Downrange Transport Premier Series. Other top 10 drivers here, those that were in the playoff hunt coming into tonight. Again, practice ticking to 0 here. Going to end in just a minute as Alphen real loose out of turn 4. Trying to get all he can. Got a little more than he bargained for. Locks her down. Parks it on the apron. Barney's waving the checkered flag, just getting ready here for the end of the race, but it really should be the black flag here to call an end to the session. But practice in the books. We saw that wrap up here. We're going to jump right into qualifying. Looks like Luke Simonson back. He's going to be the first to roll out of pit lane here in qualifying. I hate to do this mid-broadcast, but some of the admins and creators over in GLSR took the time and effort to post this out. I didn't see it till literally just now, but ignore what's on the screen right now. We're going to pull this up. We're going to try at least. There's a graphic just posted in their Discord. We just have to get it up here on the screen for you guys to see. Will certainly help you all figure out who is going to be the driver eligible for the race championship, series championship here tonight. And there it kind of is. We'll get into next. Again, I hate doing this way. If I'd seen it sooner, I would have put it up there, but it is what it is. But there you go. Those of you not 100% sure on who is eligible for the championship tonight, it's Alex Cummings, Alex Bryson, Cameron Ingram, Sam Fontaine. Those are your final 4 drivers. We won't worry about the copyright infringement with NCAA. I don't think they're coming after us at all on that one. But nonetheless, there you have it. Those are the drivers to watch here tonight. Whoever finishes ahead of the other 3, whether it's Cummings, Bryson, Ingram, or Fontaine, that will be your champion here tonight at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Brandon Alphen, fastest in practice on the Speedway, gets the wall in qualifying. Does get 1 lap in. A 33.70 was trying to go for the pole on that second lap. Doesn't get it done. Alex Cummings finishing up 6th quick thus far. Bryson finishing up his qualifying 33.688, his fastest. Still a handful of drivers not taking a time. Tyler Brewer, Brian Sutphin, Jeremy Freer, Ben Pierce. Looks like nobody wasted any time getting back out onto the racetrack before making their laps. Again, we didn't see a ton of those laps, but again, I hate to say it, that graphic, awfully important. Again, my apologies for not seeing that one sooner, but glad to have it up here in the broadcast. Again, got to thank Great Lakes Sim Racing. These guys have done an awesome job helping us out here in the broadcast with stream thumbs, logos, race logos, you name it. They've been awesome as far as helping us out here at HBR TV, getting that stuff here in the broadcast for you guys to make a better broadcast each and every week. Does appear, though, that nobody else is really rolling right now. Still a full minute left in the session. It seems that nobody wasted any time taking to the track. So with that, we are going to take a very short break. We will return with our starting grid after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway for the GLSR Championship 250, the Downrange Transport Premier Series season finale. On the pole position with a lap time of 33.493 seconds, it's the number 77 championship contender of Sam Fontaine. Outside front row, it's Luke Strayer in the 41. Row number 2, Josh Gagnon starting in the 3rd position. Another championship contender, Alex Bryson, starting 4th. 5th place is going to be Brandon Alphin, starting in the 6th position. Championship contender Alex Cummings. Sean Petchin rolls P7. Cameron Ingram in the 5. He starts 8th. Again, chasing the championship here tonight. Jason Dalton starts 9th. Richard Midkiff going to roll from the 10th starting position, with Tristan Lattiser starting in the 11th spot. Starting 12th, Cedric Ingram in the number 19. Starting in the 13th spot, it's Jacob Drift. 14th position, it's going to be Luke Simonson. Asher Gwinsey rolls from 15th. Chris Evans will start 16th. Ben Pierce, 17th. 18th starter Jeremy Freer. 19th will be Brian Sutphin. Last but not least, in the number 40, it is Tyler Brewer, starting 20th. It's your starting grid here for the GLSR Championship 250 from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Field just getting ready to roll from pit lane here. In fact, they are already on the racetrack. Championship contender Sam Fontaine going to lead the field to the green flag. Again, take a look at our final 4 championship contenders: Alex Cummings, Alex Bryson, Cam Ingram, Sam Fontaine. Your final 4 contenders for the championship here tonight at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Pace car lights still on. Looks like we're going to go an extra lap here. We've also got a little side bet, I guess you could call it, going on here with Ace Racing and Brewer Motorsports, what they call a Tron-themed livery. You'll see some of them out there, the 41, the 79 for sure. And there are others. And Sean Petchin. Number 69 machine, also with a themed livery. So pace car lights are out as the field works the back straightaway here, so that means green flag the next time by. No crazy math here tonight. Simple as that. The driver that finishes ahead of the other three championship contenders will take the title. The pace car pulls down the pit lane, just barely missing the yellow barrels full of sand. Green flag is in the air, and we're racing Sam Fontaine out to the early jump. Start finish, Sam Fontaine leads lap number 1. Who cares about points? Laps led makes no difference. If the only lap you lead tonight is the final one and you're ahead of the other 3 drivers in contention, well, it doesn't matter. You win the championship. Doesn't matter if the guy that finishes second led all but 2 laps. If you finish ahead of him, it's all you. You take that title. Fontaine out a half second over Luke Strayer already. Josh Gagnon running in the 3rd spot. Petchin up 3 spots already here just in the beginning of lap number 3. And Petchin in different colors here tonight, the red and black number 69. Same with Josh Gagnon, the number 79. Alex Bryson goes to the inside of Brandon Alphin, takes away the 5th position. Alphin slips back a spot. Alex Cummings working around the outside as well. He's going to try and challenge Alphin for that spot. Oh, big run out of turn number 4. Nowhere to really go with it. Don't know if he had to check up or not, but it was close quarters there already here at end of lap number 3. Fontaine continues to lead. Jason Dalton running in the 9th position. New paint scheme on that machine for the final race of the season. Chris Evans to the outside of Ben Pierce. Almost some contact there. Just ahead of him is the 16 of Jeremy Freer. Freer goes to the inside of Jacob Drift, way up the racetrack. The number 49 machine, Luke Simonson. Chris Evans in behind, making a look to the inside. Jacob Drift dropping down low as well. He's going to try and put the pressure on Jeremy Freer. Fontaine, still your race leader, now almost 3/4 of a second the advantage over the 41 of Strayer. Starting to settle down throughout the pack, or slightly. Tyler Brewer going to the inside of the 12 of Asher Gwinsey, takes the position away. Brewer now up into the 18th spot. Remember, started dead last here tonight. Don't know if he even took a lap in qualifying. Just trying to get into a rhythm here tonight. Take his time, slowly pick them off one by one. Again, 100% fuel load in these race cars here tonight, and 3 tire sets available over the wall if they need them. 250 miles, I'm going to assume they're going to use them. Brandon Alphin maintaining his position in about the 6th spot, but as soon as I say that, Alex Bryson's going to challenge to the outside, try to take it away, move the 21 back to P7. Bryson still not quite clear, but again, he's working, trying to get a championship under his belt. Meanwhile, Fontaine out with the race lead. It's shrunk down just a little bit. The deficit back to Strayer, just under 0.6, just over half a second. Nothing to be too concerned with yet. Again, only 8 laps in. 69 of Petchin goes way up the racetrack, trying to work in that high lane. Big run out of turn number 4. Has to check up, though, as Josh Gagnon didn't get the same run. Alex Cummings challenging for P3. Gagnon had a good qualifying effort and a good opening 9 laps. He slips now back to the 4th position as Cummings goes to the bottom, and their body armor Toyota Supra out of turn number 4. He's got him clear. Gagnon with a little bit more of a run, nowhere to really go. Don't think he's going to have enough speed down into 1 to make the challenge. He doesn't. He tucks in behind the 63 up in the high lane. Cummings in the 3rd spot, up 3 positions. Championship contenders where they run. Fontaine leads the race. Cummings runs in the 3rd spot. Alex Bryson is 5th. Cameron Ingram running in the 7th spot. He's up 1 position from qualifying. Only 11 laps in. A lot can change before this one comes to its conclusion. Guys, feel free to jump into the stream chat. Again, final race of the season. Certainly open to all you guys jumping in there, cheering on your favorite driver. Tell us where you're watching from. Anything. Just keep it PG for the kids and we'll call it good. Fontaine continues to lead now. Strayer back 8.5 tenths and growing. It's almost a full second back to the 41 as Fontaine continues to dominate the early stages of this race. Change for position once again. Brandon Elfin coming back here, trying to take the 5th spot away from Alex Bryson. Yes, there's the championship on the line here tonight, but that doesn't mean that everybody else has to let those guys go. Into the inside of Josh Gagnon. Now this would be for the 4th position. He slides up the racetrack, clears the 79. Alvin back on the charge, trying to at least grab another trophy before this season's out. He's got work to do. Again, only 15 laps in. He's got plenty of time to get it done. Chris Evans back in P14. Alex Bryson still tucked in behind Josh Gagnon. I don't know if it's really a tire strategy type racetrack. I know it's a somewhat wore out surface. The top side tends to be the place that you want to be. With the hot sun here in Homestead, Florida, bearing down on this racing surface every single day. Certainly does age it rapidly comparative to some of those tracks that might be a little further towards the north. Of course, they got to worry about the harsh winters that may age that track as well. But tire strategy could come into play tonight. Again, 100% fuel load on board these Xfinity cars. Fuel not likely to be a huge issue. However, it certainly cannot make it all the way to the end. So if this thing stays green all the way, we may look at this race as a fuel strategy type race. But again, tires are certainly going to be important as well. We'll see how it plays out over the course of the event. Again, only 18 laps in. Sam Fontaine has really stretched out his race lead over Luke Strayer. It's 1.8 seconds. Gotta wonder if Fontaine is burning up his stuff a little bit too early in the run, if he's just got that much pace, if he's able to take care of the tires underneath him. We're gonna find out. Alex Bryson, Cameron Ingram, two championship contenders battling for position. Now, keep in mind, those four championship contenders, it really just comes down to finishing position on the racetrack at the end of tonight's race to determine their finishing position within the championship. So as, for example, where they run right now, if the race were to end at this very moment, Sam Fontaine would be your champion. Alex Cummings would be your runner-up. And then you got Alex Bryson, he would be third, and then Cameron Ingram would be your fourth place finisher in the title hunt. With that said, not even worth talking about yet. Plenty of racing left to go. Only 20 laps in of 167. Moving right along, but you see these two, Alex Bryson, Cameron Ingram, battling for position as they run. Bryson in 6th, Ingram in 7th. This continues to be the battle on the racetrack. Bryson and Ingram still side by side on the front straightaway. Ingram on the bottom in the number 5, the 38 of Alex Bryson in the top lane. Seems to be the best way to defend the position is carry that momentum on the top lane. Drive out of the corner, have a little bit more of a run. Ingram not able to do the same, but does he get clear with Josh Gagnon ahead of Bryson? Does he act as a pick? So far, he's doing an okay job maintaining with the 2 of Jason Dalton. He's coming into the picture as well. A little wiggle for Gagnon out of turn 4. Might have scraped the wall just a bit. Keeps his foot in the throttle. Stays ahead of Cameron Ingram now. Ingram goes back to the bottom. Gagnon way up the racetrack. On board with Brandon Alphin, looking back at this battle as Fontaine just continues to stretch out his lead over second place. It's almost 3 seconds, but now it's Alex Cummings in P2. Strayer slipped back to P3. Ingram lost the nose there out of turn number 2, had to lift to stay out of the left door of Josh Gagnon. It's really given an opportunity to Jason Dalton. He's alongside Cameron Ingram now. Bryson tucks back in behind, so Bryson now running 8th. Ingram takes the spot back away from Dalton. Oh, trouble! Ingram in the wall! Bryson in the wall. 2 of our championship contenders in trouble here early. Big time damage on the nose of the 38 machine. I had a feeling in the pit of my stomach that something was about to unfold. I looked away for just one moment, and it happened. No fast repair for these drivers, so championship hopes for Alex Bryson gone. Not going to happen here tonight. Cameron Ingram, same scenario. Major damage on that machine. The front end badly damaged, hood missing, front bumper cover is gone, smoke pouring out of the engine bay of that machine. Jason Dalton also involved in it, not a championship contender. Tough break. Well, let's get a look at it, see what happened here. We watched it live. Oh, big time impact for Ingram. We'll back it up here. Slow things down a bit. Watch it from the blimp. You got Dalton to the outside of Ingram. Bryson behind both of those drivers. Bryson's actually cheating up the racetrack. So is Cameron Ingram, and he just slides up just ever so slightly, thinking there was more room than there was. Gets into the left door of Jason Dalton. It sends Ingram up the racetrack, and unfortunately for Alex Bryson, he collects the 5 on his way through, unable to avoid. So half of our championship contenders out of this one here early. Pit stop's underway. Sam Fontaine in his pit box for the first time today. Surprised to see him putting tires on, only 28 laps in. 167 laps the race distance, a long ways to go. I know Fontaine wants to take care of his stuff, wants to stay towards the front, track position being important. A lot of drivers taking tires. Looks like Brandon Alphin did not. 9.4 seconds, likely just fuel only for the 21. So things have taken a turn. Through that cycle of pit stops, though, Alex Cummings has jumped ahead of Sam Fontaine as your leader in the points as far as the championship hunt is concerned. Again, it all comes down to who finishes where. If Cummings finishes ahead of Fontaine, and with those other two out, Alex Bryson and Cameron Ingram, he would win the title. Now, he does come back down pit lane here. I'm not sure the thought process here. Cummings took tires and fuel on his pit stop, maybe just topping off again, or possibly a penalty to serve. We'll see how this one goes down. Cummings in the pits, stays on the ground. .4 seconds, that's for fuel. I don't know, maybe he didn't have the fuel checked. Tough to say. That's a lot of fuel considering he was just in pit lane. Well, it is what it is. We've lost half of our championship contenders. Now with the race lead, it's going to be Jacob Drift. Opting not to hit pit lane, Sam Fontaine, first driver, complete his pit stop. He's going to restart in second spot. Luke Simonson, though, he also stayed out, but ironically, he's going to start in the third position. That number 49 machine, he'll restart to the inside. Pace car is off.
Green flag.
Barney with the green in hand. We're back racing once again. Little wheel spin from the drivers in the mid-pack. Everybody gets through. They scatter. 3 wide for the race lead down in turn number 1. Jacob Drift slips from P1 back to third right away. Fontaine out with the race lead over Luke Strayer. Looking back at the number 41 as he had earlier on in this race.
Caution.
And caution on the speedway once again.
Trying to talk me
Josh
through what's going
Gandian
on.
involved in this one, as well as looks like Tristan Lattiser possibly. Yep, Lattiser driving away in the number 23 Camaro. look at it here on the start finish. Gagnon already around. We'll back it up a little further here and get a better look at it. Coming through turn 4, just loses the rear end of the car. Unable to keep it underneath him. Almost had it. There was some contact there. I think it was Brian Sutphin. And Alex Cummings gets a piece of this as well. Remember, he came down pit lane late as we were getting ready to go back to the green flag. Let's watch this from Alex Cummings' perspective. Oh, that was a pretty good hit. Alex Cummings collecting a couple of cars in this wreck. It's going to push the nose up a bit on the number 63. It's not going to be quick in the wind as far as that's concerned. Drafting likely to be an issue. Aerodynamic damage on the number 63. Cummings going to come down pit lane here. Yeah, you see it there on the nose of that Toyota Supra. Again, folks, it's still early. We're only 32 laps in of 167. Cummings is not out of this just yet. He's got some time. He's going to take the time to get this car fixed. He's going to have to. He's going to need the pace later on in this race. He's going to try and reel in Sam Fontaine, who seems so strong already here on this mile and a half. It seems to be his bread and butter. See, Cummings still sits in the box, just pulls out. Still some nose damage on the number 63. He's just trying to stay on the lead lap for the time being. Still pretty significant damage. You got a lot of air coming into the engine bay with that hood peeled up the way that it is. That's not going to be a fast race car on the straightaways. Certainly not going to handle well at full speed in the corners without any drafting help. Again, if you put a car in front of the number 63 at speed, that will help slightly because the nose not really going to have to deal with a lot of the air coming down onto it. With the car in front, it's going to go over the roof of the race car, down to the back, over to spoiler. He's got his work cut out for him tonight. Well, as we get ready to go back green flag racing here, pace car lights still on, so at least one more lap around. Sam Fontaine with the race lead over the 41 of Luke Strayer. Jacob Drift, Sean Petchen going to restart third and fourth, and Tyler Brewer, Chris Evans fifth and sixth. Remember, Brewer started dead last here tonight. In fact, he's already up into the top 5. Job well done for the 40. Fifteen cars currently still on the lead lap. Alex Bryson in 16th. First car 1 lap down, involved in our first incident, our first caution. Cameron Ingram shown as last on the leaderboard. So there you see it. The lights on the iRacing pace car are off, which means This is the one to go. A couple more corners, we'll see the green flag. We'll get this thing back underway.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag back in the air. Fontaine with another good jump down into turn number 1. Luke Strayer in the tire tracks, 3 car lengths back. Alex Cummings riding in the 9th position, still nose damage on the front of that number 63 as Brandon Alphin drops to the inside, trying to take the position away. Keep an eye on the 63 of Alex Cummings here. We'll see what kind of lap time he's going to throw down in traffic with the damage as compared to the race leaders. Last lap for Fontaine was a 33.73. Alex Cummings, 33.87. So not terribly off the pace, about a tenth and a half. Still have to imagine he's going to want to get much more of that damage repaired before he really tries to push his way through the field. But it's going to change his strategy significantly throughout the course of this race, whether it's tire strategy, fuel, anything he can do to try and work his way to the front easily without having to put the nose of that Toyota Camry in the wind. Drops to the inside though. He's trying to take the position. He's already up into P6 if he can get clear. 00 Chris Evans to his outside. Then it would be Tyler Brewer next on the docket for the 63. Not able to get the pass done. Down the backstretch, tucks in behind the 00. Brandon Alphin now, he's going to drop low. Takes a look to the inside of Cummings down into turn 3. Alphin certainly no slouch. He's got some race wins on the season. And no damage as Brewer gets into the fence. Gets into, and we got Brandon Alphin in the wall. Big time wreck down into turn number 1. It started here on the front straightaway. Drivers getting into the fence, trying to save it, unable to do so. Brandon Alphin, big impact in the inside wall on the main straightaway. Third caution of the night, lap 40. Let's take a look. Not necessarily the greatest angle on it here. Again, we'll watch Alphin come out of turn 4. See, Brewer gets into the Chris Evans machine. Cummings comes down to try to avoid Brewer and just drives into the right front of Brandon Alphin, sending him quickly into the inside wall. On board with Brandon Alphin. You see it happening just ahead. This is not Brandon Alphin's fault, but I will say this much. When you see that stuff happening this early in a championship race, I understand Alphin's not a championship contender here tonight, but you got to lift. You got to allow that situation to kind of develop, live for another lap. Tough break here, only 40 laps in at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Under the caution flag once again, Sam Fontaine taking the opportunity to pit once again. I'm assuming this is going to be fuel only. I cannot imagine him taking tires here. And it is just that, fuel only for the 77. Giving up some track position, knowing he's got the pace. Sam Fontaine rejoins the race here. Looks like he's going to restart here in the 10th position. So Luke Strayer is going to lead some laps here tonight. Strayer has not made all of the races this season, but good to see him back. Tyler Brewer's going to hit pit lane again. Tristan Lattiser, Brandon Alphin, of course, Alex Bryson, Josh Gagnon. Surprised to not see Alex Cummings hit pit lane here, trying to get some more of the damage repaired to his body armor super drink number 63 Toyota Camry. A little bit of right rear damage on top of the nose damage. Be less concerned about the right rear, more concerned about the nose. Not the most slippery of cars in the wind with that kind of damage. About to put lap 43 up on the board. I'm going to assume here this is going to be our one to go. So this time by a restart coming lap 44. Telltale will be when the lights on the iRacing pace car go out. And there you have it. Lights go out on the pace car, so restart coming next time by. Luke Strayer is going to lead him down to the outside of him. It'll be the 69 to Sean Petchin. Then Ben Pierce, Chris Evans, Jeremy Freer, Alex Cummings, Cedric Ingram, Richard Midkiff, Luke Simonson, and Sam Fontaine be your top 10 drivers as we go back racing here at lap 44. So again, let's talk about our championship contenders as we get ready to go back to green. So far, Alex Cummings at the present time, damage and all, in the best position. If the race were to end now, he would be your champion. Sam Fontaine, second in the 9th position. And Alex Bryson and Cameron Ingram laps down after their wreck. Pace car is off. Green flag in the air. We're back racing from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Luke Strayer continues to lead over the 69 to Sean Petchin. Then it's Ben Pierce, Chris Evans, Alex Cummings, your top 5. Cummings, your championship contender, hanging on to that position, not willing to give it up just yet. Still damage on that number 63 machine, waiting for an opportunity to get that thing a little bit cleaner in the wind. It's looking a little bit better here and there. Still work to do on the 63. Jeremy Freer tucks in behind Alex Cummings, Chris Evans. Sam Fontaine up into the 7th position already. Fontaine, a little connection issue there for a moment. That's got to make you a little worried. He seems to be the class of the field for the time being. Certainly don't want to throw it away with an internet-related issue. Strayer continues to lead over Sean Petchin and Alex Cummings. Cummings up into the 3rd spot. Damage doesn't seem to be hurting him too terribly bad, but Fontaine certainly working his way towards the front. He's got a couple of cars between himself and Cummings. 48 laps in. Thought Fontaine was going to give the 0-0 of Chris Evans a bit of a push, but opts to go to the inside. Both drivers out of Canada. Fontaine on the bottom, Evans up the racetrack. Evans going to have a good run here on a turn number 2. Fontaine still to the inside. Next driver to be contending with is Ben Pierce in the number 94 in the 4th spot. He's up 13 positions right now. So far our biggest mover of the afternoon. Chris Evans gets a piece of the wall on exit. It's going to open the door once again for Fontaine. Fontaine's going to drop it down to the bottom. Evans going to go way up the racetrack again. It still seems to be the way to do it. You can build a heck of a run out of the corner if you're going to take that high lane. Fontaine still unable to clear the 0-0 down the backstretch. They continue to battle it out for this position. Track position, very important. It's starting to seem here at lap 50 at Homestead-Miami Speedway, even just off the restart. Fontaine having some difficulty working through some traffic that, well, you would think with his pace that he had out in front would be relatively easy for him to get through. It's not really the case, but he switches up lanes instead of going to the bottom. Now Fontaine up the racetrack in that Larson line for at least a moment out of turn number 2. Chris Evans now under attack from Jeremy Freer. Fontaine hangs on to the 5th spot. Ben Pierce next on the list for him to try and catch and then pass. Most important, though, after that, it's Alex Cummings. That's your championship contender right there. That is the one who currently leads in the title hunt. Strictly based on running position on the racetrack. If Cummings finishes 3rd and everybody else is behind him, he wins the title. Of course, if he wins the race, it's kind of a no-brainer. Yes, he's going to win the championship as well. Fontaine is there. He's got to get by the number 94, Ben Pierce, and then he can set sail and try to reel in the 63 of Alex Cummings. We'll see how that battle shapes up once he gets there with the damage on the nose of that machine that Alex Cummings has. Right now, Fontaine, as far as championship contenders are concerned, with the best looking race car as far as damage is concerned, still not really able to get around the 94 of Pierce. Really not even there to catch him. He's about a car length back. Fontaine losing a bit of ground on the 94 of Ben Pierce. I don't know if he's just trying to save his stuff for later on, knowing we still have well over 100 laps remaining here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. We got pit stops to worry about still. Fontaine has shown throughout the course of this season he's very smart behind the wheel, on top of being quick. Got to take care of your equipment. Don't get impatient. Fontaine doing a good job of that as Alex Cummings way up the racetrack. Fontaine really does close the gap on the 94 of Pierce. It's impressive. I don't know how you maintain the discipline to not just full send there trying to get around the 94. Luke Strayer still with the race lead over Sean Petchen. It's about a full second now as they get to lap 56. But with that said, we're going to take our first break here. HBR TV's side-by-side will be the recipe for the break, so stay with us. You won't miss a moment of the action. We'll be right back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back to the action here at Homestead-Miami Speedway for the GLSR Championship 250 Downrange Transport Premier Series from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Luke Strayer still your race leader over Sean Petchin. 2.5 seconds the advantage for Strayer now over the number 69 as Ben Pierce takes over the second spot for the time being. Inches ahead of Petchin. Way up the racetrack, though, Sam Fontaine makes his way around the 63 of Alex Cummings as well. That would be a very important change of position as Fontaine now in the championship seat as this race is approaching lap 64. Fontaine up into the fourth spot, trying to take third from Sean Petchin. Down turns 1 and 2. To the low side is the 77. Petchin's going to build a run. Or does he? A little loose in the middle of the corner. Fontaine completes the pass. Move the 77 up to P3. Again, he's got to be wise here. He does not have to win this race to win the title. He's just got to finish ahead of the 63. You know, your other 4 championship contenders, Alex Bryson, Cameron Ingram, certainly out of contention for the title. Bryson 3 laps down, Cameron Ingram officially out of this race. Strayer just having a good time logging laps here out in front of this field with the Bondo coin sponsorship on that number 41 machine. And you can really see it. You see Strayer in through turns 1 and 2. And here comes Ben Pierce. Quite a ways back. Pierce is quick, even with the rear end damage. Back of that race car, center punch pretty good. It's pushed in quite a bit. See here in the spotlight cam, that Toyota emblem pushed up almost a full foot. It's also pushed the rear deck and the rear spoiler up towards the front of the race car. Still able to turn some good laps though. Race leader turning a 34.94. Pierce was actually 200ths quicker, a 34.92 that last time by. Interestingly enough though, Sam Fontaine a 35.07. Pierce hanging on to that second spot. Running an identical lap time to race leader Luke Strayer now. Both drivers hitting a 35.01 the last time across the start-finish line. Sam Fontaine, ironically, the same exact lap as Alex Cummings at 35.13. Both drivers there, championship contenders, running identical lap times the last time by as well. Same as the top two. Things are going to start to change here from Homestead-Miami. Real loose out of turn 4. The race leader, Luke Strayer, saves it. Tire starting to go away on that machine. That lap time not going to be what it needs to be. Pierce was almost a 10th faster. Strayer trying to get all he can. Almost got more than he bargained for out of turn 4. Saves the race car, though. Continues to maintain his lead over Ben Pierce. 2.6 seconds the advantage. Again, Fontaine back 3.7 seconds from Luke Strayer, but doesn't really need to go up there and challenge. I think if I'm him right now, knowing that I've only got to beat one guy, that's Alex Cummings, take care of my stuff, take care of my tires, just do what's ever necessary to stay ahead of the 63. I'll be fine, good to go. Take the title, thank you very much. Got to get it to the finish, though. Plenty of racing to go. Lap 71 of 167. Still not even halfway. I think drivers have pretty much well settled in to their racing groove, so to speak. Jacob Drift still running in the 7th spot, still having a good day, up 6 positions. Got to give a call to Ben Pierce, though. We've talked about him a bunch already, but man, he has had a great drive here tonight. Caution. Up 15 spots, and the caution is out.
What do you got for temps, sir?
Not 100% sure why. Simonson in the pits, but I don't think that's even the issue. Our 4th caution of the night. Usually iRacing will give me some form of an indication as to what brought out the yellow, but there's nothing indicated. Let's try and get a look at it here. It looks like there might have been an issue with Luke Simonson. Has to back it up in the pit box. Right side tires went on. Four tire change, maybe some damage repair. Truly not sure what put us under the yellow here. Meanwhile, pit stop's underway. Luke Strayer from the race lead. Sam Fontaine slides through his box. Does he make it? No, he did not have to back up. He got lucky. I think another inch or two forward, he would have had to back it up. Still had to make the pit crew move. 41's down and away. He's going to beat Fontaine out. So is Ben Pierce. Cummings also close to it, but not quite. Fontaine's going to get out in front of the 63. We got Friesen. I'm not sure what he's trying to say here in the stream chat. I think this might be Luke Simonson in the stream chat. He says, my pit didn't cause the caution. It was about 11 laps to go, or 11 laps ago. Still don't know why the yellow came out, though. Still no indication as to what put us under the yellow flag, but looks like some drivers were in need of some pit service, so it worked out for most of those involved. Lap 74, still not quite halfway, but we're going to jump out, get a quick break before we come back for a restart. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
We're going to jump back in here just to get things established as to what put us under the yellow flag once again. It looks like Cedric Ingram actually had an issue out on the racetrack. Let's get a look at it here. Happened under green flag conditions out of turn 2. Not a great look at it, but it looks like he was turned. The 00, Chris Evans. Ingram not quite clear. We don't know if he came up or not, but that's what put us under the yellow flag here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Now with that, we're formed up double file, getting ready to go back racing. Race car lights are off. And we're going to do this again here. Pace car is going to take the hard left down pit road. Not really the track that I would expect to see so much attrition. But this field is getting smaller and smaller every time we see the yellow flag. We got it done last week at the Nashville Fairgrounds without much of an issue. Had plenty of drivers remaining at the end of that one, but it's getting a little thin here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. But never mind that, we still got a battle for the championship and for this race win. Still not halfway. Strayer with the race lead. Fontaine just now taking second from The 94 of Pierce slides up the racetrack. Alex Cummings, the big run out of turn 4. Does he drive into the 77? Gives him a push, maybe. I don't know if he was close enough to give him a push, but man, if he was, he would have done it. Cummings up the racetrack, going to try and build another run out of turn number 2. High, wide, and handsome is the 63 of Alex Cummings. Down the back straightaway, the battle for position, the second spot, and potentially a championship between Sam Fontaine and Alex Cummings. Still hot and heavy through turns 3 and 4. Cummings doing a great job running that ultra high line, still with some damage on the nose of that Toyota Camry. Able to maintain pace with Sam Fontaine. I just have to wonder if he was able to get all of that damage repaired, would he be able to outrun the 77? The high line is his best friend right now, as that's what's allowing him to maintain that position over the 77 of Fontaine. Back to the stripe. Lap 80 goes up on the board. Still just a few laps shy of halfway. We're getting there. Just barely off the wall out of turn 2. I think they might have scraped some paint off the right rear of the 63, but he clears Fontaine. Cummings now into the second spot. Fontaine dives it way down to the bottom once again. Strayer's got to be loving this. Yep, go ahead, boys, fight it out. I'm going to drive away and try and collect a trophy by the end of the night. Cummings way up the racetrack, just inches off that safer barrier. That is where the speed is. As long as you can keep the right side of the race car off the wall, you can be quick here. It's working right now. He's got the second spot, just about a tenth or two ahead of Sam Fontaine, as Fontaine does drive it to the bottom again, the short way around, but not the fast way around, if that makes any sense to anybody. We saw Fontaine be so patient prior to this restart. Didn't want to push the envelope. He knew he was in a good spot to stay ahead of Alex Cummings, but now when it's between himself and another championship contender, well, he's all in. Goes back to the bottom. Cummings still up the racetrack. You see the differential in speed just by running a different lane. There's 3 lanes you can really run here: ultra high, ultra low, or right in the middle. You see how much deeper Fontaine drives it down to the bottom of the corner because he's got room to go up the racetrack. But the difference with Cummings is he can kind of maintain that pace on the high side and continue to fight back. Man, wouldn't that be something to watch these guys fight it out all the way to the checkered flag, settle the title here tonight. Fight continues. You see Sam Fontaine, he continues to drop to the bottom, lap after lap after lap. I'm just waiting for the moment where Fontaine opts to stay high, follow the tire tracks of Alex Cummings, and here it is. We were waiting for it to happen, and there you see it. A couple car lengths now off the back bumper, both drivers taking the high side. It actually works out to the advantage of Alex Cummings because he's dumping a whole lot of dirty air on the nose of Sam Fontaine, so he's not able to get that turn in that he needs to get through that corner. He's got to lift. He's got to take some weight off the rear tires, get that car to rotate, and the only way you really do that is to get on the brakes or lift. Cummings, on the other hand, he doesn't have a car that's too close to him out in front that can dump a lot of dirty air on his nose. He's able to kind of take command and be in charge of that high line. Officially past halfway here, 86 laps in. It was 83 and a half if you want to be a real mathematician about it. Cummings still up the racetrack. So here's the risk. We have seen this happen before, not just in iRacing, but even in the real world. Guys like Kyle Larson, who are so accustomed to running the high lane, whether it's here at Homestead-Miami Speedway or at Eldora or Knoxville or wherever the dirt series, the high limit series is running. Yes, they can run the fence, run the cushion, as they say. But the problem is you have no room for the mistakes. You make one slight mistake on corner entry if you're going to run that line, especially when you're inches off that safer barrier, you're going to find yourself in the wall. If that happens, Sam Fontaine, he's right there ready to pounce. Taking a look at the lap times between our top three drivers. Strayer in clean air, a 34.21. Alex Cummings, a 34.31, but Sam Fontaine slightly quicker, a 34.28 his last time by. Some lap traffic into the mix. Fontaine gets on by the number 29 machine of Richard Midkiff. Cummings still way up the racetrack. Man, I am super impressed with Alex Cummings being able to run that high line lap after lap after lap and keep it out of the wall. I don't want to leave out Luke Strayer. Let's give him some love. He's still out in front of this field. He's led a bunch of laps here tonight, continues to do so. Maintaining a 1.2 second advantage over second and third place as Fontaine and Cummings continue to fight it out. But that's what's working out for him. With these two fighting for the second spot, Strayer is able to just run consistent, clean laps, take care of his stuff. Still put a gap on second and third. Really impressed with these two. They've been side by side, lap after lap here. I want to say for, well, really since we went back to the green flag. Almost 20 laps ago. This is the battle that we want to see here. These two drivers, again, they're not just fighting for second spot here. They're fighting for the title. Whoever finishes this race ahead of the other guy, that's who is going to take home the hardware. Will it be Fontaine? Will it be Cummings? The other two drivers in contention, Alex Bryson, Cameron Ingram, they're out of this thing. Ingram officially out of the race. Bryson 2 laps down in 14th. Yes, he could make it back up with a caution, a couple of cautions, get that lucky dog, but he still has some damage he's got to be worried about. Again, Alex Bryson came into tonight as a championship 4 contender. You see from these pictures the nose of that number 38 Gradient Concepts machine not looking good. And here we go again. Fontaine looks like he might have finally gotten clear of Alex Cummings while we were talking about Alex Bryson. Cummings goes way up the racetrack again, trying to build the run, but Fontaine may have taken care of his stuff a little bit better than the driver, that number 63, moves Sam Fontaine in the second spot, lap 94. Now let's see if he can start cutting into the race lead here with the 41 of Luke Strayer out in front. Cummings still just riding the ragged edge of that high lane. Ben Pierce has gone by. I think Cummings burned up his stuff trying to stay ahead of Fontaine. I can't say that I blame him. Oh, the 23 gets into the wall. Tristan Lattiser scrapes the right side of the safer barrier, keeps his foot in it, but it's going to open the door for Jacob Drift to take position away. No TV panel on the back of that Camaro for Lattiser. Certainly has some damage already. Certainly not helping his cause as he slides up the racetrack and gets it into the wall. But again, the nose is clean, so that's the most important part. Number 19 is Cedric Ingram, maintains his position on the racetrack within the top 10, even though he was involved in that last caution. Started 12th here this evening. Up into the 10th spot, Tyler Brewer running 11th. A little bit of right front damage on the number 40 Pro Sim West machine. I got to hand it to Alex Bryson. A lot of guys out there would have already given up, called it a night, said, you know what, it's just not our night, boys. It's all said and done. But you got to be smart enough to realize that there's always that opportunity. There's always a chance. If the two guys ahead of you, Sam Fontaine, Alex Cummings, just as Bryson and Ingram had their issue early on, Fontaine and Cummings, they battled side by side for 20 laps. That could have been potential for both of those drivers to be caught up in an incident with each other. Could have been in the same boat as Bryson and Ingram. Bryson stays on the racetrack again. Plenty of damage. You can see it here in the shot. If something happens with those two drivers out in front, he could come through and pick up the scraps. Those scraps being a championship here in the Downrange Transport Premier Series. Got to keep at it. There's always that chance. Bryson running in 13th. 2 laps down. Sam Fontaine in the second spot. Championship leader as they run currently. Pierce runs third. Alex Cummings fourth. Fifth place is Jeremy Freer. Luke Strayer still well in command of this race. 1.5 seconds the advantage over Sam Fontaine. Don't want to fool anybody and be like this is a surprise, but Strayer is certainly no slouch out there. He's out front leading this race because he's that good. It's not just luck. It's not circumstance. It's not because Fontaine doesn't have the pace. It's just that Strayer is that quick. Alex Cummings still working the high side. Now Cummings has made 4 pit stops tonight. Again, don't let that fool you. A lot of that might have to do more with body repair than anything else. Likely to still have a set of tires at least, maybe even 2 sets of tires over the wall if necessary. Works his way out of turn 2 down the back straightaway, still maintaining the 4th spot. Jeremy Freer, the number 16. Up 13 spots, started 18th. Sits in the top 5. I want to say good job, and okay, we'll give him a good job, but Ben Pierce running in the 3rd spot, up 14 positions. Certainly the hard charger at this point of the race. Cedric Ingram working on the 23 of Tristan Lattiser. Lattiser, Ingram, and Bryson all lined up in a row. Again, Bryson not on the same lap as the two ahead of him. Cedric Ingram still trying to work on the back bumper, what's left of it at least in the 23 machine. Ingram seems to have a little bit more pace. Just got to find a way around, get out of that dirty air, get some downforce on the nose of the number 19 machine, and he's in the fence. Ingram drives it up the racetrack, scrapes the right side of the safer barrier. That's going to kill a ton of momentum down here on the main straightaway. Alex Bryson going to try and take a peek to the inside, but really nothing doing there. Ingram going to have to regroup. Back out front, Luke Strayer still with the lead, but that lead is shrinking and doing that in a hurry. 3/4 of a second back to Sam Fontaine. On board with Sam Fontaine as he tries to reel in race leader Luke Strayer. We've been under the green flag for quite some time here. It was about lap 73 that green flag racing. Still got one more pit stop to be concerned with before this one's all said and done. I guess the question remains, do we see it under the green flag or do we get another yellow? Luke Strayer continuing to rack up his laps led stats. It's just a matter of time, though. Fontaine continues to close the gap. It's less than 4/10 down the back straightaway. 3 car lengths. That's what I'd give him right now. Strayer with the race lead, but for how long? Fontaine closing the gap considerably lap after lap. Both drivers pit relatively the same lap. It was Strayer lap 177. Fontaine was backwards. Lap 73 for both drivers. It was 4 tires and fuel for both drivers. So equal footing for the 41 and the 77. And you see it, a car length between the 41 and the 77 of Sam Fontaine. Of course, Fontaine would be happy finishing second and then winning the title, but man, he wants to win this race, and he's taking a peek to the outside out of turn number 4, making the challenge for the race lead. Doesn't quite have enough, but maybe a run down into turn 1 will make the difference. We'll watch him out of turn number 2 and see if Fontaine builds enough of that run on the high side to take the position away from Luke Strayer. Strayer slides up the racetrack, thought about blocking the run, but he didn't have enough time to get up top side to slow down the 77 of Fontaine. Down into turn 3, Fontaine clears Luke Strayer, takes the top spot. New leader, lap 112, it's Sam Fontaine. With that, we're going to jump out, get an HBR TV side-by-side break, our final side-by-side break of the evening. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway, lap 119 in the books. Downright Transport Premier Series, final race of the season. A champion to be decided here tonight. And right now, one of those championship contenders continues to lead this race by a quarter second over the 41 of Luke Strayer. We've been watching the battle here in the back half of the top 10 between Cedric Ingram, Tristan Lattiser, and the 00 of Chris Evans. These guys have all three been battling for these positions pretty hot and heavy for the last handful of laps. Racers, well, they're racers. They're not going to give up position. They may not be in it for a championship, but every spot matters to these guys. Chris Evans still maintaining the 8th position. Started 16th. A solid run for the 00 here tonight. Not a great track for the Chevrolets, though, as for what I'm seeing. It's Sam Fontaine, really the only one having a successful night in a Chevy. Then it goes Ford, Toyota, Toyota, Ford, 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 and then we get to 9th and 10th before we see any more Chevrolets. Only 2 Toyotas in the field here tonight, and they run 3rd and 4th. Ben Pierce, Alex Cummings. Of course, Cummings eligible for a championship tonight if he can put on a charge here, maybe get some damage repaired. If we get a caution, we can reel in Sam Fontaine, and I don't know. We'll see what can happen. Anything is possible. Again, Alex Bryson certainly thinking of that same mindset as he continues to stay out of the racetrack with all the damage that he has. There's still a chance. He's 12th, but he's 2 laps down. Need a couple of cautions, get him back on the lead lap, get some damage repaired. Cross your fingers if you're Alex Bryson fans. Maybe see if something happens with Fontaine and Cummings, but remains to be seen so far. Again, 122 laps in, now 123 of 167. Fontaine still out in front, half second over Luke Strayer. Just trying to stay clean and get it home to the finish. You see the deficit there being 0.6 of a second now on a turn 2. It's not that close, but it's not that far away. We're talking maybe 8 to 10 car lengths between Fontaine and Strayer. Now some changes going on here under the green flag. We talked about this. Pit stops underway. Strayer, Pierce, Cummings, Freer, and Jacob Drift all in the pit lane. Tyler Brewer as well. Good entry into the pit box for Luke Strayer. Right side's going on. This could be his last set of tires. 4 brand new Goodyear Eagles. Full load of Sunoco Racing fuel. Strayer down and away. Now Fontaine not wasting any time. Those guys behind me are going to pit. I'm going to pit too. Just going to play it safe. Of course, Fontaine certainly has the pace. Fontaine into the pit box. Right side in the air. New tires going on the right side of that machine. Crew around to the left. Sunoco Racing fuel going in as well. 4 tires in fuel. Crew drops the jack and Strayer. It's Fontaine down and away. Number 77 back in the hunt. Likely his last stop of the evening unless we get another yellow and he's hiding a set of tires somewhere. Cedric Ingram from the race lead. He's going to hit pit lane as well, but through that cycle, Strayer takes the point. He's back out in front after his pit stop. Got in and out a little bit quicker than Sam Fontaine. Cedric Ingram, Alex Bryson, both in the pits at the same time. Can't imagine Bryson's going to hang here long, even to get some damage repaired. He really needs a caution. Try and get that car a little bit cleaner, get some body work assembled back onto it. 4 tires and fuel nonetheless. Drops the jack, Bryson's down and away. So Luke Strayer out in front by a wide margin, 3 full seconds back to Sam Fontaine. Fontaine's really going to have to work hard to reel him back in. We've seen this happen many times, and there's even guys out there like Zach Millett, for instance. He ran some races in the Truck Series in this league last season. He was able to really gain a ton of time, and he still is, wherever he's racing at, on pit stops under the green flag. You can get in and get out, maximize that entry and exit speed. That's where it's done. Strayer, the number 41 Ford, out in front of this thing for the same reasons. He was in second place prior to the green flag stop. Came down just 1 lap sooner than Sam Fontaine. Gets in and out. They both took 4 tires. They both took fuel. Strayer gets out with a 3 1/4 second advantage over Sam Fontaine. Again, we've talked about it a bunch. Fontaine does not need to win this race. He just needs to finish ahead of the other 3 drivers, 2 of which having their own issues early on in tonight's race. The only real challenger he needs concern with right now is Alex Cummings. Cummings now running back in the 4th position, and keep in mind, Alex has some damage still on his number 63 Toyota Camry. Take a closer look there. You can see that gap of air between the front bumper assembly and the hood. It's letting a lot of air into the nose of that machine. That's going to cost him down the straightaway, especially if he's not in the draft. This is the only circumstance where, as a racing driver, you kind of want dirty air because you don't want to worry about that air hitting the nose of your damaged race car. He's doing a great job maintaining his position within the top 5, but I just don't think he's got enough to track down the 77 of Sam Fontaine. Strayer still with a 3.5 plus second advantage over Sam Fontaine. Out of turn number 4. It's going to be 37 laps to go as he crosses the line. While we have the opportunity here, let's take a look at our lead lap cars. Of course, Luke Strayer, your race leader currently, started outside front row, maintains the top spot over Sam Fontaine, the championship contender. Again, Fontaine took pole position. He slipped 1 spot, but again, he's fine finishing where he's at. He can even slip a spot to 3rd, give Pierce P2, and he'll still win the championship over Cummings. Ben Pierce, a solid afternoon, started 17th. He runs P3. Alex Cummings, another championship contender, started in the 6th spot, up to 4th. Again, you see the damage there on the nose of that machine. He's doing an amazing job sitting there in the top 5, damage and all. Jacob Drift running in P5. He's up 8 positions on the day. Sean Petchin, currently in the 6th spot, started 7th. And Jeremy Freer, the number 16. He's having a great day. Started 18th, well within the top 10 in P7. Tristan Lattiser started 11th, running 8th. Talk about Alex Cummings maintaining his top 5 position. I'm more impressed with Tristan Lattiser being able to stay within the top 10 with the damage that he has. Chris Evans started 16th. He's running 9th. Cedric Ingram involved in the yellow here tonight. Still managing to stay on the lead lap within the top 10. He currently runs 10th. Started 12th. And the last driver on the lead lap in the 11th position, it's the 40 of Tyler Brewer. He's having a good day too, honestly. He was up the 11th spot, started 20th here today, shotgun on the field. Laps continue to dwindle down. Lap 136 of 167. Luke Strayer working the back straightaway, about to put lap 137 up on the board. It'll give us 31 laps remaining. So with 31 laps to go, Luke Strayer still with the lead, 3.6 seconds over Sam Fontaine. We've got to get one final break out of the way. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
.25 laps to go from Homestead-Miami Speedway. We continue to watch Luke Strayer lead this race, but he's starting to work through some lap traffic. It slowed him down a bit. Remember, it was 3.6 seconds when we went to break. Now it's 2.6 seconds back to Sam Fontaine. Again, coming to 24 laps to go. We saw this kind of precipitate itself at the end of the last run. Fontaine, on the later stages of this race, of the run specifically, on older tires, was able to reel in Strayer and put the pressure on and then take the lead away. Strayer, at the end of his pit stop the last time, was able to jump out to a 3.5 second advantage over the 77 of Fontaine. We'll see if that maintains itself throughout the next, 23.25 laps. A little loose out of turn 4 is Strayer. We saw that happen before early. Got it real loose, almost spun the car out. Right rear starting to get some temperature into it. The car loosening up quite a bit. Now back to Sam Fontaine. Even if he does start to reel him in, you see the lap traffic he's going to have to contend with as well. It really can come down to how quickly and easily He can make short work of those 3-lap cars that are ahead of him and in between himself and the race lead. Again, 22 laps to go. There's still time to get it done, but I'm telling you, Fontaine is running out of time. He can still lock up this championship, but I would bet donuts to dollars that he wants to win this race as well. Ben Pierce still running in the 3rd spot, damage and all. Alex Cummings seeing his championship hopes slowly dwindle away. Again, Cummings involved in some contact with some other race cars early on in the race, resulting in some damage to the nose of that number 63 machine. Who really has done an excellent job maintaining that position within the top 5. It's just boiling down to not being quite enough. If you had the fast repair, you just got to ask yourself, would it have been enough? Would that car have been fast enough as him behind the wheel to reel in Sam Fontaine and challenge for that championship? As it sits right now, he's almost 16 seconds shy of Sam Fontaine with only 20 laps remaining. Fontaine can just maintain a position ahead of Alex Cummings. He will lock up this championship. But again, as we had mentioned, Fontaine in some lap traffic. He wants to win this race. He's going to try and reel in Luke Strayer and put that challenge on. He's not going to risk too much. If he can get by, he's going to get by. Fontaine gets by Tristan Lattiser. Got one more driver to go on by. I think that's Jeremy Freer in the number 16. Nope, it's 40. It's Tyler Brewer machine he's got to get by. Catches him in a hurry out of turn number 2. Down the back, they're side by side into turn 3. Fontaine easily takes the spot away. So now the deficit coming to 17 to go. It's 1 3/4 of a second. Strayer ran a 35 flat that last lap. Fontaine at 35.07, and he was in traffic. Fontaine is picking up the pace. Laps to go for Luke Strayer. He can lock this race win up. He can just keep Fontaine in the rear view mirror. Deficit hasn't changed a whole lot. Fontaine still about a 1 3/4 back. 15.5 laps to go. Strayer still out in front. Strayer still out in front, but man, that deficit every single lap is shrinking. Fontaine a second and a quarter off the back bumper with 13 laps to go. I'm telling you, Fontaine, he's a racer. He wants to win this race. I know he wants to win that title as well, and that's the most important part, but sometimes it's impossible to turn the racer off. Fontaine can run second and still win this championship, but if he can catch Luke Strayer in the next handful of laps, just got to assume he's going to try and go for the race win here. Strayer keeping it to 1.2, 12 seconds to go. Last lap for Strayer was a 35.18. Just about a tenth slower than second place Sam Fontaine as he continues to close the gap. If he maintains this pace and continues to be that much faster lap after lap after lap, we could see a last lap pass. I know a lot can change from here and there, but with 11 laps to go, deficit just over 1 second. It's right on board with Sam Fontaine. Sam really letting that car roll to the apex of the corner. You can actually hear the tires showing their displeasure. On to turn 2 with 9.5 laps to go. Fontaine's got it under a second. Strayer costs us a stripe here, 9 laps to go. Little by little, Sam Fontaine chewing into that deficit. I don't even know what to think right now. I don't know if Fontaine is going to get there and just throw caution to the wind and just go. Or if he's going to play it safe and try and lock up that championship in P2. 3/4 of a second as we get to 8 laps to go. Did Fontaine get the wall? It sounded like he got the wall. He lost some ground. It's only about a tenth of a loss, but it sounded like he got the outside wall with the right side of that number 77. He ran a 35.15 the last lap. Little wiggle on a turn 4. You can see him chasing the race car up the racetrack. At the stripe, Fontaine, 35.52. He was actually slower than Strayer that last lap by about a tenth, a little over a tenth. See the deficit now still under a second. With 7 laps to go, I think Fontaine just needs to play it safe, be conservative here, take the second place finish. That, of course, comes with a championship. Cummings now slips back to P5, 22.5 seconds shy of the race lead. So unless something significant happens here, whether it be a caution or a major incident with Sam Fontaine, Sam's looking really good here for a title. 5.5 laps to go as they work off turn number 2. Five laps to go from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Luke Strayer still with the race lead, and he's starting to stretch it out once again. 1.2 seconds the advantage for the 41. I think Fontaine has just realized you know what? About to win a championship here. I got to take care of my stuff here for the next 4.5 laps. I wanted to win this race, but second wins the championship. Let's just stick with that. A lot can change from here and there. Again, the caution comes out here. We got 4 laps to go. Can certainly be in a situation where we jump into a green-white checkered finish. That would certainly change things. Alex Cummings still in striking distance. Caution would come out. I don't know if anybody's got tires left. They had 3 sets over the wall to work with, so 4 sets overall. But if we do get a caution, we have 2 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. 3 laps to go from Homestead. Strayer out in front, 1.4 seconds. Again, the deficit continues to grow. And Fontaine's just being smart about it. He can shed roughly 20 seconds of lap time in the next 2.5 laps and still finish ahead of Alex Cummings and win this title. Deficit growing once again, 1.6 seconds out of turn 4, 2 laps to go. Strayer having a dominant run. He's certainly led the most laps here tonight. Started outside front row. Quietly took over the top spot through a cycle of pit stops. Was able to gain 3.5 seconds over Sam Fontaine. Sam was able to reel him in to within 3/4 of 1 second. Now the deficit out of turn 4 as Strayer takes the white flag. It's 1.86 seconds for the number 41 of Luke Strayer. One more lap. Strayer can take home a checkered flag, and Sam Fontaine can pick up a title. Downrange Transport Premier Series Championship on the line here, and no pressure out the back for the race leader and the championship leader running in the second spot. That's Sam Fontaine. Luke Strayer through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. The final race of the season here at Homestead-Miami Speedway takes the checkered flag. Sam Fontaine will cross the stripe, and he will as well pick up a championship here in the Downrange Transport Premier Series. Strayer, your race winner. Sam Fontaine, your second place finisher and champion. 2 wins on the season, it's all it took for Sam Fontaine. Luke Strayer, no burnouts, maybe he's out of gas. Fontaine back at start finish. Looks like he's ready to celebrate. Luke Strayer letting the champion celebrate on the front stretch before himself. Talk about sportsmanship. Looks like Strayer celebrating just off of turn 4. Let the champion do it on start finish. We've got all those paint schemes that we talked about early on. These guys are just going nuts. Well, with that, we're going to jump out here, get our last break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3 finishers and our champion after this.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway, Sam Fontaine, your second place finisher in the race. But the top dog in the championship fight takes the title here in the Downrange Transport Premier Series, the GLSR Championship 250. Let's see if we can pull Sam up into the broadcast booth and get a word with our second place finisher, but our champion, Sam Fontaine, driver the number 77. It's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
We turn you up here just a bit. Try it again. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right. We got you loud and clear. Congratulations, Sam. I know you wanted to run down Luke Strayer and take that race win away from him, but you got close. 3/4 of a second there late. I think you put the right side of that machine in the fence, and it might have been a wake-up call for you. Let's take care of the race car. Let's finish this thing out in front of Alex Cummings and lock up that championship. You did just that, man. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, it was a great race. Did some weird kind of strategy with the fuel, the way the caution turned to be, and after that, just trying to get back around Cummings when the other guys had some bad luck, and we had a really great fight mid-race, and we ran super clean each other. He loved the top groove, and he was working it super well. I was working the bottom the most of that race, so it was a really fun and great fight. At some point I saw him disappearing. I don't know if he did a mistake, kill his tires or something, but it is what it is. It's part of it, and after that was just trying to manage, like you said, the car, take care of it for the second stint, and in the third stint, well, I pitted a lap later just to be sure to not get Cummings back into the fight, and I tried to get to the win, but Strayer did everything right with his tires. It was really hard. I pushed so hard, and I killed the whole stuff trying to get to him, and with the 5 last lap, I mean, I tried something different and cut the fence a little.
Well, with all that said, we did watch the battle between yourself and Alex Cummings. That really was the championship fight. I want to say it went on for 20 laps. Cummings had the top side. He was able to build the momentum out of the corners and maintain that position. You finally got alongside and then got by. But then you talk about you had the lead for a little while, then that last pit stop cycle, Strayer was able to put 3 seconds on you after the fact. What could you have done different on that pit cycle to maybe not give up so much time between yourself and Luke Strayer?
Yeah, I mean, the pit cycle, I think it was mostly about the tire. Maybe I took it easy in the pit road, trying to not do any mistake that would cost me the race. But I didn't want it to pit before Alex. He was around 10 seconds behind or 8 seconds behind, and that was my main goal at that point in the race. So I was willing to give away the lead. I knew they were pitting in because they called it in the chat, but I just didn't want it to take the chance and get stuck behind them after that for some different strategy. So I did that, and it cost me the lead at some point. I almost got it back, but what you want? Like, it's part of the game. Like, I had to play the championship first.
Well, we talked about it during the broadcast. It's one thing to be fast, it's another to be smart. Guys like Sam Fontaine, well, they're a little bit of both, and it certainly paid off this season. You take home the championship. We certainly wish you the best of luck here going into next season. Congratulations on the title and a second-place finish here, Sam. Who do you want to thank before we let you get going?
Yeah, I want to thank everyone who showed up this season. We had great battles, great racing. We had like really clean stuff. Maybe a little smaller field in the last 2 weeks, but it was just fun anyway. Like, on track, we had great battles and really clean racing action. I want to also thank everyone who sponsored the league this season, everyone who sponsored the races, and for sure, like, you for the broadcast, and all the admins, Tyler and Sean, who did a great job.
All right, Sam. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Again, congratulations on the championship here in the Downrange Transport Premier Series. Again, good luck going on in the next season.
Thanks.
Sam Fontaine, your second place finisher and your champion. Let's pull the race winner, Luke Strayer, up into the broadcast booth. Luke, congratulations. A dominant performance here tonight at Homestead-Miami Speedway. You take home the checkered flag. Tell us about your race.
Oh, that wasn't dominant. I think Fontaine had the best car. I think I just got lucky that I pitted one lap before him, and then I don't know if he was saving or I was going hard, but he got back like 3 seconds, and then he just gunned it. And then he got up to like half a second from me, and I thought he was going to take it, but I don't know if he just thought championship or maybe his car finally fell off. I don't know. I definitely feel like it's a win. We'll take it.
Well, yeah, I mean, no matter what happens or how you get there, a win is a win. You know, if you're talking Vin Diesel, winning is winning. But you want to talk about the pit cycle there and how you got out 3.5 seconds. He was admittedly relatively conservative on his pit entry. He didn't want to make a mistake getting in and out of the pits. You were aggressive, and you made it work for you. You went from second to the lead. 3.5 seconds was your advantage, and then he was able to reel you in to within about 6 or 7 tenths. But I don't know if he changed his line or what happened, but he did put the right side of his race car in the outside safer barrier. So it cost him some time, and I think it was a bit of a wake-up call. Said, you know what, let's think big picture here. Let's not chase down this race win. Let's lock up this title. Either way, man, you try to downplay it and say that it wasn't a dominant performance. I'm sure you led the most laps tonight. You started outside front row. You had a good night, man, and congratulations. A well-deserved race win here at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Yeah, oh, thanks. Oh, wow, I led 113 laps. Okay, maybe
He's
maybe
already
a bit
looking at the stats, folks.
maybe a bit more dominant than I thought, but yeah, like, one thing I want to say is I'm happy to get Brewer Motorsports a win. They were allowing part-time people drive the car, and Sean had to give me my test race, which is funny because I made Final Four last season, but it was my test race to show I can still drive. So that was Michigan, did good there. So it was all lined up for this Homestead race, and I'm really excited. Brewer gave me the chance to race. I had a blast, and I'm happy to get him his first team win. Brewer Motorsports first team victory. Yeah.
Well, there you go, Luke. Again, congratulations. It was certainly an impressive run to the checkered flag. Wish you the best of luck next season. We're not going to be here broadcasting for it. Looks like you got your original guy back, so good on you guys for that. Appreciate being a part of this for the last couple of seasons. Before we let you go, though, Luke, who do you want to shout out to?
Just want to shout out to Grit as always, and Adria. Hopefully I can post this to the Adria forum and they'll be happy that they got another win. But like I said, I want to thank Tyler Brewer for putting me in his car. That was really cool. Racing with Ben again as a teammate, it was a lot of fun. I have not yet raced with Ben as a teammate since he was my team owner. I think back in season 6, and we're on technically season like 10, 11. So it's good to race with him again. But yeah, main thing, congrats Sam for the championship, and thanks Steve. Been a great.
All right, Luke. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Again, good luck next season.
Thanks.
It's Luke Strayer, your race winner here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Last but not least, not even last, really, he was third place. Podium finish for Ben Pierce. Let's pull him up in the broadcast booth and get a word with our third place finisher. Damage and all. Ben Pierce and Steve in the booth. You got us?
I got you, Steve.
All right, Ben. Again, congratulations, man. You looked solid out there tonight. You had a lot more pace than I think some of your competition maybe expected to see. You brought the car home in the third position, started 17th, so without a doubt, I don't know if you guys do a hard charger award or not, but if you do, you definitely got it. Congratulations. What was the strategy coming into tonight? How did you work that strategy? And just walk us through the rest of your race.
First of all, I appreciate the kind words there on the hard charger. Gradient Concept Super was, like you said, solid all night. Started in the back, and the goal was just to just run the bottom and try and save tire and work my way through the field. Highline could be faster at certain times, but knew from previous races here and other cars it was going to eat your tires. In a race with 160 plus laps, it's eventually going to get a long run, so you want to save those tires as much as you can. Had a couple of incidents that granted us some spots a little quicker than we would have otherwise, so that was fortunate. But really just trying not to be over aggressive. Let people, if they want to go out, off a restart and run the high lane and burn their stuff up, I'll catch them later. That was kind of the mindset I had, and again, just trying to keep pace with the guys that had a little more speed. Luke was really fast. Fontaine did a great job saving his stuff later in the race. And I think I just had some aero damage at some point on that last run, and then I knew after the pit stop I was just going to settle for third. But I'll take it. Podium's always nice.
Podium is always nice. It was really a strong run. We watched you a lot tonight. It was a really impressive run, not just by you, but teammate Luke Strayer. A 1-3 finish for Brewer Motorsports tonight. Great way to end the season. What are your thoughts rolling into next season?
Absolutely. I mean, you said Brewer Motorsports is Brewer Motorsports' first win, so I would have loved to get it for him this season, but I'm glad Luke did. Tyler's been such an integral part of this league as a whole. Been here about as long as I have, if not longer. Had a couple breaks, came back, but he's been there the whole time. So for a team that's been around like this, for guys who've been around, it's important to get him that win. As far as next season, it might be part-time effort again. I appreciate him letting me come in and run a couple races here and there, run the combos that I thought might be fun. Big fan of the road courses, super speedways, that sort of stuff. So it might just be that effort again, but I'm not going to rule anything out. If there's something that looks enticing enough, maybe we get more races on the schedule.
Ben Pierce keeping all options open. Again, congratulations on a top 3 finish here to close out the season. Ben, who do you want to shout out to before we let you go if you didn't miss anybody already?
Again, just Gradient Concepts, Simrack Market. They have great patterns, bases for all your paint schemes. Partners with them. Pay-to-win setups. Great people over there. RMP Motors. Soap. Those are partners I've worked with in the past. Still do. Great people. And everybody here in this league that we've had some low numbers, but they still put in the work and the effort, and your broadcast for the past couple seasons, and just everybody behind the scenes.
Well, Ben, again, thanks for chatting with us here tonight. A great run here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. We do wish you the best of luck, whether it's a full-time effort or part-time next season. We may not be broadcasting it, but we'll be sure to keep a close eye on things. Thanks for talking to us, man, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Ben Pierce, your third-place finisher here at Homestead-Miami Speedway in the final race of the season. Luke Strayer takes the checkered flag. Sam Fontaine takes the title. What a great race here tonight. A little bit of chaos in the first half and a lot of green flag running in the second half. You can't really ask for a whole lot more. With all that said, though, let's take a look at our race results. Of course, we talked to Luke Strayer, Sam Fontaine, Ben Pierce. That was your top 3 finishers. Jacob Drift finishes in the 4th spot. Alex Cummings, 2nd in the points, 5th overall in the race finish results. Sean Petchin was 6th. Jeremy Freer, 7th. 8th went to Tristan Lattiser. Chris Evans was 9th. Cedric Ingram battling back to a 10th place finish. Tyler Brewer was 11th. 12th, Alex Bryson. Asher Gwinsey, 13th. 14th was Richard Midkiff. Luke Simonson finishes in the 15th spot. Brandon Alphin was 16th. Brian Sutphin, 17th. Josh Gagnon, 18th. Jason Dalton was 19th. And last but not least, not the night that he wanted to have, Cameron Ingram finishes 20th, 142 laps down. Lastly, I just have to shout out and say a big giant thank you to all the admins here in the GLSR Championship 250, not just the Championship 250, but the Downrange Transport Premier Series, the GLSR Racing Series, I guess you could call it here in iRacing. These guys brought me on here for a couple of seasons. It's been a great time. I feel that maybe I came up a little short covering some of these races with some out-of-town travel with the day job, but these things happen. I can just say that I do appreciate you guys having me here to broadcast these races. They really have been a treat to watch and a treat to call. So if you guys ever need anything in the future, don't hesitate to let us know. Be sure to try and shoehorn you guys in somewhere if the need ever does arise. That's going to do it for me here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Thank you guys all for tuning in. We'll catch you the next one. Have a good off season.